This week in our collective heads, wanna put an old rumor to bed. Stereotype that you've all heard, how we're all just angry video game nerds. Most of us have actual jobs, kids and families and cats and dogs, yeah. This week in our collective heads, this week in our collective heads.
Welcome to This Week in Our Collective Heads. I'm Patrick.
I'm Kevin.
And welcome to the gaming news show that we do every single week live on Twitch. If you're watching us later on YouTube, thank you for watching us. And if you're listening to our podcast, we love you podcast people.
Indeed. However you're experiencing us, we are grateful.
Yes.
Because, yes.
We're everywhere, though. So if you didn't know, we're on Facebook, TWIOCH, and then at TWIOCH for Twitter.
Yeah. And I've managed that, and I'm very responsive.
Yes.
So, yeah.
We will talk to you. I'll take these off, because I don't need them right now.
It's a fact. So we have the gaming news for you this week. We're going to go ahead and kick it off with the backwards compatible list that Major Nelson did. Mm-hmm. Those are kind of hard to find sometimes, and so we like to go ahead and kind of highlight them. First one is Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon, which is so awesome.
Very happy this is on
if you're looking for something to do after you finish watching Stranger Things on Netflix, this is perfect.
Yes, it
because is. It's got all the neon and it sounds and it's so wonderful.
It's so 80s and I love it. It's so over the top 80s and I cannot recommend it enough. This was a $15 game back in the day.
Yeah, I think so.
So it was around 10 or something like now. We also got Shank 2. And as is tradition, if we have not played a game or if we've not seen what a game is, we discuss what we think that it actually is, even though it's not.
Right.
Do you have one for Shank 2?
Shank 2 is the sequel to Prison Stabber.
Yes.
Which it's kind of weird that they would change the title in between them.
Yeah,
but
it's the whole Rocky Balboa kind of thing.
Right. But
Shank
2 is a prison simulator. There's a lot of crafting involved. You can craft various things as part of your job because you need to maintain your job so that, whatever, and then you build skills there and manage all that kind of stuff. And then the objective, obviously, is to create kind of this criminal empire, and your crew is the Shank.
Yeah.
Nobody knows where the Shank is. It's like this super secretive thing.
Yeah.
And
I heard there's a way you can sell hooch as well. You can create it in your bathtub or in trash bags.
Right.
So, and depending on how you do that, you can get caught or whatever. So
right.
It's interesting.
There's a lot of crafting, and I enjoyed that. The end game is kind of tricky because at a certain point your crew becomes big enough that you can't hide in the shadows anymore.
Gotcha.
And then you have to decide when to go public with your crew. And that particular decision in game can be problematic because if you do it too soon, you can lose. If you wait too long, you can lose. So there's kind of a fail state about 2/3 of the way into the game.
Okay.
I really wish that they had kind of messed with that.
Yeah.
But anyway, the beginning of the game is really entertaining, and the ending is all kinds of it's got some twists.
So cool. I would play that.
And twist.
I would play that. If only that was a game. We also got Dirt 3, which we and Dirt Showdown and Grid 2. Right. All of which I believe
various driving games that have been free at some point on Xbox or PlayStation.
Yes.
And so
you can pass on those unless you already have them and you're just a boring person. I don't know. I don't know.
Don't accuse them of being boring.
Well, they could, if they're a boring person, then they may enjoy it. If they're not a boring person, they may still enjoy it as well.
Okay.
All right. We also got some news about Dead Rising, which we'd heard a little bit about this before with the Dead Rising. What is it? PlayStation did a thing about a 10th anniversary. I can't believe this is the 10th anniversary of this game.
Yeah. We kind of saw this coming whenever Dead Rising 4, whenever they announced that this year. It was kind of it's exclusive with an asterisk or whatever, and so it was this was going multi-platform, and so it makes sense. The strange thing about this particular group is that you get Dead Rising 1, Dead Rising 2,
Yes.
and Dead Rising 2 off the record.
Yes.
No Dead Rising 3.
No Dead Rising
So
3
it's-
and no American Nightmare.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I'd have to look into it because I wish I had. I don't know if Dead Rising 3 like had some different publishing rights or something as to why it wasn't on there. Similar to Rocksteady and the Arkham Knight games, where people are like, oh, why isn't Arkham Origins on there? Because that's not a good game. Is really what it boils down to. So you saw. I think everybody in the world has seen the news about No Man's Sky.
Yeah, there's yep. It's got some issues with both the pre-order bonus. For some people, is missing the blueprint that they need to make the hyperdrive.
Correct.
If you don't have the hyperdrive, you're stuck on the first planet you land on.
Exactly.
And that's that removes you from most of 18 quintillion planets.
Exactly. It basically boils down to, if you did the pre-order, you got a starter ship and that already had a hyperdrive. So if you sell that ship and get another ship, then you can't build a hyperdrive because you've never seen the blueprint. It takes away that quest line. They could fix this easy enough to just automatically give you, if you have the pre-order, just give you the blueprint because you already have the pre-order.
Right.
But people are starting over on the game. And anytime you're starting over on a game specifically because of the game design, not because of you're screwing up on a game, that's wrong. We've all started over on games because we decided we were going to play it a different way. But, yeah, that's ridiculous.
No Man's Sky is all over the internet.
Yes, it is.
And,
it's everywhere.
And people seem to be really, really excited about it. And it's
sold out everywhere.
Yeah.
I went on a whim. I was like, I've been thinking about getting this game, so and I wanted to play it after work. So I left work, went to Best Buy, Target, and Walmart, and they were all sold out. And GameStop. GameStop was sold out too.
Well,
every place.
GameStop's kind of assumed. Like,
yeah.
That's where you go.
Every place was sold out, and it disappointed me because I didn't want to. I was already kind of like on the fence. It was going to be an impulse buy. I know it's an expensive impulse buy, but I was like, I kind of want this. And then when I realized I would have to download everything, and I just decided not to. Yeah. Then again, there's a huge day one patch too. So.
Yes. And there's also there's various issues, and it's listening to Sean Murray and the team talk about how the procedural generation goes is really, really fascinating to me, because they were talking about how intricately connected things are. Because like if you land on a water planet, you're not going to find a bunch of snakes and like land creatures. Yeah. Like the way that the system is designed, the creatures that you find in the world makes sense.
Exactly.
And so because everything's so interconnected, they said that they would find issues like if they tried to deliberately change the color of like the skin of an animal, then the water would rise. And like everything just seems to be interconnected and balanced to such an intense level that it frankly, this game just amazes me, and I absolutely intend to pick it up, but not right now because I can't do $60 impulse buys.
And I wanted to pick it up on Redbox too, and Redbox didn't even have it, and there were people online asking, "Hey, are you gonna have it?" And they're like, "Oh, we didn't know about this game. Are you serious?" Like Redbox does not understand gaming apparently.
No,
they only put. I mean, from what I was reading and what the responses said to me was that Redbox essentially puts games on there if a publisher tells them to put them on there. It's not a. I mean, they were just like, oh, we didn't realize that was coming out. Like it wasn't even like I was waiting for them to say, what is that? I was waiting for that.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. And Redbox is one of those things that, one of those outlets that I've talked about on the show. If you are thinking about grabbing a game and you don't want to spend the $60, you can Redbox it, play it for an evening, and go, okay, that's my thing, or that's not. And then you don't have buyer's remorse for spending $60 on a game that wasn't like what you expected.
Yeah.
And this one I think is a really good example of that because they didn't tell you anything about the game beforehand other than procedurally generated.
Yeah. And a lot of people have also been talking about how like they get into the game and it wasn't what they expected, but they can't wait to get home and play more.
Yes.
And so that's great.
Yeah.
I'm really happy for them. But I don't know if this experience that you had that you can't explain will be similar enough to my experience that I can't explain. And so,
it essentially boils down to go to planets, mine things, create things,
name things. And that sounds like fun.
and then try to do something that we'll not talk about on here,
Right.
Because we don't want to spoil anything. But
Nope.
there is an objective. But you don't have to take that objective. You could just, fly around and have fun. So, if that sounds fun to you. There's another game that is on Steam that once I saw more about this, that it reminded me of. And I'm forgetting the name of it now because I wanted to say Rust, but it's not Rust. John will probably tell us in the comments what it is because I think he picked it up. It's a space game where you go and you explore. It's a third person, not first person.
Okay.
But you can mine stuff and you can craft stuff and you can build like big buildings on your planets and people can come to your planets and hang out with you.
Huh.
So it's kind of like what we wanted No Man's Sky to be,
Yeah.
but it's not. So
All right.
yeah. So if you want to. I'll let you talk about Metroid, then I'll find out
Okay.
what the name of that thing
All right.
is.
So the Metroid 2 fan remake, or M2FR.
Yes, another Metroid. What was it stand for? Another Metroid remake 2. I think is what it's
something like
called.
that.
Yeah.
But anyway, they basically took Metroid 2 and remade it, and this has been a project that's been going for like 6 years, and that released, and that was available for a hot minute. Before Nintendo was like, no, please stop. And which is unfortunate because that's a really hard game to get in places. So they are within their rights to shut it down, and we've covered this before that like if they don't defend the copyright, then they will lose potential to defend it in the future.
Yeah.
So yes, this is something that Nintendo had to do, but it's out there, it's available, and I'm definitely gonna try it out because this looks it's basically it's Metroid 2, which was on the Game Boy, but it looks very similar to Super Metroid graphics, which is such an amazing game, and.
I'd heard.
So, yeah.
I'd heard that Nintendo was pulling this too.
Yeah,
as they do.
shut it down.
So if as much as we don't want to recommend doing this, it is on torrents. I mean, you can find it that way. The game should be completely legal because it's essentially a free thing that people are giving out. It goes back to what we were talking about with Star Wars last week, or what I talked about Star Wars, with Galaxy in Turmoil, that if you put out a game like this, that some people will be confused as to whether this is an official Nintendo game or not an official Nintendo game.
Well, but since it's not on any Nintendo platform, so...
Yeah.
And one of the things that I really wish that Nintendo would do, and this is something that you see a lot more now, Ark Survival Evolved did it, and a pretty good selection of developers are doing this, is they'll find fan projects of people that are doing amazing stuff. The Elder Scrolls team also goes out and finds people that are working on their projects, that are making mods, that are enhancing this title, and they're like, hey, would you like a job? And these people spent 6 years and they made this project.
You would think that Nintendo would recognize it, but Nintendo doesn't understand how. Like I've said it countless times, Nintendo does not understand 21st century business tactics when it comes to gaming.
Yeah.
They don't understand streaming. They don't understand mods. They pretend to by making Mario Maker, but
Speaking of mods, weren't we supposed to get mods for Fallout 4 on the PlayStation like a month and a half ago?
Yep.
All right, that's not a news story this week because we still don't have them.
Still don't have it.
So.
Who knows if we'll get it. We got some interesting news when it comes to speaking of torrenting and pirating. We got
Right.
some interesting news when it comes to piracy, because the de novo piracy
Piracy protection,
piracy protection stuff has been cracked. First game was Rise of the Tomb Raider, and this it only surprises me that it took them so long to do this.
Which is kind of impressive.
Yeah.
But the the audacity of hackers never ceases to amaze me, and they'll get there.
It just surprises me it took them that long.
Yeah.
Apparently, there are. And we don't condone doing this, by the way. There, the PS4 and Xbox One have both been jailbroken that can run, that could possibly run jailbroken games,
Yeah.
ripped games. But
Or if you're in Brazil, I mean, that's
that's
thriving economy.
yes,
So-
with the PS3 and everything. But the PS4,
No, PS4.
is it on
Yes.
PS4? I didn't know it was
That's-
broken there.
That's one of the reasons that they charge so much in... Yeah, I went down this rabbit hole this week. That's one of the reasons that that Sony charges extra for it in that country specifically.
Yeah.
Because when you go in to a store in Brazil and you buy a PS4,
Yeah.
you pick 10 games and they'll put those on there for you for another $100.
Okay.
And that's just how they sell it in the store.
Yeah.
So and because Sony is so invested and they have the PSN, and a lot of the games that come out are either published by them, published with them, or developed by them. They make a ton of money on the software side.
Yeah.
And so in order to counter that, they
have a
end
huge
up
tariff.
charging way more.
Well, that's why I think there was $600 for one there, or $800.
It was
It's a ridiculous.
It was
amount.
outrageous.
Yeah, it's so much that I just can't fathom it.
Yes.
Speaking of which, since we're talking about consoles already, and this isn't news. We talked about this last week that Microsoft has decided, we're just not going to make any more 2 terabyte Xbox One S. So the Xbox One S, it's still out there. I've seen it in a few stores. Go grab one if that's what you're wanting. GameStop will give you $175 on your Xbox One to trade it in. So knocks a little bit of money off of it. So you're spending $225 for a smaller, quieter, sleeker, 4K ready for video streaming, at least Xbox One. I've seen a lot of people who are talking about this specifically because the Scorpio is not going to come out for another year.
Yeah.
And I still think it's going to be $600 to $700.
Yeah. Speaking of high prices, PS4 in Brazil is $1,800.
$1,800 American?
Yeah. They really don't want it over there.
Now, is that Sony that's doing that, or Brazil's government? Because they've been slapping on $200, $300, $400 taxes on things.
Yeah, it's.
So
I'll dig into that at some point.
Okay.
But yeah, $1,800.
That's ridiculous.
It is.
We need to game. I mean, I thought Australia was bad enough with their $80, $100 games.
It's America. Like.
I'm glad to be here, but come on. I mean, that's ridiculous. So the next news story, I don't know how spoilery you want to go on this. I think that if you're going to go back into WoW, if you're not playing World of Warcraft and you're going to go back into WoW, this is there. It's already there.
Yes.
And if you're playing right now...
And I think it's cool.
I think it's really cool. And so we're gonna pretty much spoil this.
Go spoil it.
Because I think it's a really cool idea to shake things up, and it got me. I mean, I was already kind of interested in the game anyways.
Right.
But so essentially, if there is a World of Warcraft quest line that's leading up to the Burning Legion expansion, and I'm playing the wrong one. That's spoilers before I spoil things. Hold on.
Heard you like spoilers.
So put some spoilers in your spoilers.
So the heads of the Alliance and the Horde have both been killed.
Yes, which I was like, oh, that's kind of cheap, and then I was thinking, no, it's not, because if you did that to one, if you did it to one of the factions, I think it would be kind of
destabilizing.
Yeah.
But because they've worked since the beginning to create this world, this lore, this history that's going on there, I think it's really fantastic, and there are people who know this kind of lore, like you and I know Souls lore.
Yeah.
And Yeah.
Well, and the other thing is we're not talking about. I mean, we're talking about the king of Azeroth. This is the king of the humans. Who I'm gonna just skip forward just a little bit so we get into the fray here. And I think it would be destabilizing if they took down one, and I also think that if they took down one leader, not the other, that you'd have gloating by the other side. I mean,
sure.
Because that would happen. I think it was important for it to be impactful for both sides. Warcraft is a unique experience where you play two warring factions that have a greater evil that's coming to essentially take them over. So, and he says for the Alliance, and everyone cries. Blizzard does some great job with the animations, with the cinematics. They always have, and I'm glad they're continuing with some great storytelling that way. And we also got. Let's see if I can bring up the Horde one. Yep, so this is the Horde one, and I'll skip forward just a little bit. It's very. Hold on. I think it does it right at the beginning. That's where it is. So it's the new leader of the Horde. I mean, I think that he's been leader for like maybe in gaming terms maybe like a year. Broke his tusk, and everyone thought, oh, okay, he's dead. And then they had another cinematic where he actually is kind of passing the torch. God, it's heartbreaking, but I think that's important to show how big of a deal the Legion is. For you guys that don't know, the Burning Legion and all of that, the quick version of that would be to say that the evil force that we're talking about here is what turned the orcs green, what made the orcs like feral and trying to kill people.
Right.
And the orcs, after, if you guys haven't seen the World of Warcraft movie or haven't played the game, the orcs came here through a burning portal, through the Burning Crusade.
We'll do a lore video on this at one point. Anyway, this
is why the orcs are thought of as evil by the humans.
It's a fun thing, and it shook up the world, and I'm gonna cut you off there.
Okay.
Next story.
Oh.
All right, so we talked about how Ubisoft, for their 30th anniversary, is releasing various games and just passing on stuff for free. This upcoming month is, or this month, Wednesday. Rayman Origins is free, and Rayman Origins is awesome.
It's a blast.
I actually played this about a year ago, and went back and forth and played it a little bit here and there, and finally beat it a couple months ago. But yeah, this is platforming excellence,
yes,
and I highly recommend it. The final mission or whatever is ridiculous. It took me like probably 4 hours or so to beat because
really?
Like everything is so precise, and so I played it for an hour or two and gave up and like learned a little bit at a time, but like it's outrageous.
Some good stuff.
But it's absolutely worth it, and I highly recommend it. Highly recommend it.
Yeah, I recommend all the Rayman games. Most of them are fantastic. I mean, this is the series that gave us the Raving Rabbits and stuff. So, Yeah. And I would say that this is on a different level, but I'd say it's as good as the Rabbit stuff.
The platforming is solid, and it just
totally down.
There's a lot less, because like there's plenty of indie platforming things that are going on, but as far as like rapid in your face platforming, this is where it's at, and they're giving it out for free.
Yeah.
So we recommend picking that up.
Gotta love it.
Quantum Break is actually coming to Steam on September 14th.
Huge deal.
Yes.
Huge deal.
Because originally, like we told you, they put that out on only the Windows Store.
Yes.
And it sat there for a little bit, and so if you wanted to play it, that was how you had to buy it.
Unless you wanted a physical copy, obviously.
Right, or you play it on console or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's finally coming to Steam, and so yeah, if that was something that was interesting to you, go ahead and go pick it up. Yeah, time travel and Littlefinger.
Littlefinger, who I'm sorry, I love the guy on Game of Thrones, but he can't keep an accent straight. And it's really irritating in this game. I wanted to say movie because the game is such is a different level of storytelling when it comes to gaming. Similar to how Heavy Rain was you playing a point and click adventure basically. In this case, it's a game, and then it goes into these amazing scenes like this. And I can't remember how many. I think there are 6 30-minute shows, 30-minute videos. So instead of a cinematic where you're sitting there for like 2 or 3 minutes, it's like, all right, put the controller down, get the popcorn.
See, I like the idea of, and the way that I would like to experience this game is to set up time to do the play session, and then get to the cutscene, and then just have that as kind of your reward, and you sit back and enjoy that, and then I'm done for the evening.
Yes.
And I'd really like that idea.
It'd work really cool. So if you knew how much time it was going to hit, because that's the hard part as gamers. You'll be playing and it's like 1 in the morning or 2 in the morning, and
one more try.
But then when it's like, all right, here's a 30-minute cutscene, and it's 2 in the morning, you might fall asleep. Thankfully, you can play the cutscenes again.
Yeah.
But I think it's good. I think it's it was a really ambitious thing for Microsoft to do.
Yeah.
And I think it's good. I just think that I think not enough people may have given it a chance because it's pretty fun.
Well, it's on Steam now.
It's on Steam.
Hopefully more people will be able to play it and check it out.
Yeah. And then you can Steam Link it if you have a Steam Link like I do.
There you go.
I'm not going to buy the game again, though.
Doesn't seem like it.
Not for that.
All right.
Not for that.
So this falls under the category of rumor speculation, but it's Vita, so I'm gonna talk about it.
So you're excited about it?
Yes.
Yeah.
So there is a patent filing by Sony.
Yes.
That talks about a new version of wireless transmitter or receiver for just go ahead and throw that up. For a mobile device, which they're not doing phones anymore, and this wouldn't work for phones anyway.
Yeah.
But yes, so there have been people who have been speculating that this might mean that we're getting a new Vita version, because sure, why not?
I don't think we're going to get a new Vita.
No, I don't either. But I want it to be true.
Are you ready for my ridiculous theory that's not going to be true at all?
Oh, absolutely. Give me a ridiculous theory.
So you may remember back in the day that that Nintendo partnered with Sony
almost
to create the Sony the PlayStation.
The Nintendo PlayStation.
Yes.
Yes.
And Sony also, in one way or another, created the sound chip for the Super Nintendo.
Mm-hmm.
I think Sony may be creating a chip for the NX.
That would be hilarious.
It would be hilarious. That's my ridiculous theory. And if that's correct, I'm gonna lose it, because the first thing that I thought on here was I don't think PlayStation's gonna do another portable here.
Yeah. If
they do one, I'll be surprised. The Vita's decently popular in Japan.
Yeah.
So
it's and it's people that have it like it.
Yes.
And that's
that's
which is the same with Wii U.
It's the exact same with Wii U.
Because people who have it are like, yes,
I love it.
These dozen games that I have are really good.
Yeah, and Redbeard is that's his favorite console of this generation.
Yeah.
And if you look at, I think the horrible thing is that there's only like a dozen third-party AAA games.
Yeah.
But there were games I didn't know were on there, like Watch Dogs is on the Wii U, and I forgot.
Seriously?
Yeah, I mean, like, I was in a GameStop, and I'm like, I didn't know that was on this. I didn't know that was on this. Now, they're not games that I would pick up for Wii U because I have another console.
Right.
But I just thought it was random. I mean, Assassin's Creed and some others. So
Ubisoft has been more kind of on their side.
Yes.
And I think they wanted the Wii U to succeed more than most third-party developers.
I think so.
So
it's a great console. It's sad.
Did Ubisoft do Zombie?
I don't remember.
Okay.
I was just say it's sad. I think people are going to look back on this similar to how people look back at the Dreamcast, except the Dreamcast didn't have near as much time in the sun before Sega just pulled the plug. In this case, Nintendo tried to continue with it because they had that, but they had the 3DS to kind of keep them afloat.
Yes,
It was
Ubisoft did Zombie.
Yep, which was Zombie U.
Nailed it.
And I think that people are going to look back on it similar to that. Now the question is the NX going to revitalize Nintendo? And if the rumors are true, I think it's going to.
Yeah. I'm really hoping that with the NX it'll be able to carry forward the Mario Maker levels, because that's
the problem.
That is the killer app for me on Wii U.
Now
that game is so good.
Now with everyone talking about it being cartridge based, is the rumor for the NX. Personally, I think that if it is cartridge based, that the dock that you're going to put it, if it's the handheld like we think it is, I think the dock's going to have a CD drive.
Okay.
Or DVD drive, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it'll have a drive to play Wii U games. I think that they want to make sure, and it'd be great if it was also it would play all your Wii U games, but Mario Maker specifically and those kind of games that can really easily translate. I think it'd be great if it was able to be backwards compatible, because the Wii U came out 3 years ago, right? So it's not been out very long, and you're already pulling the plug. Now this is the same. I think it's about the same time frame as the Xbox to the Xbox 360. There was not a lot of time between that.
that was a real quick transition.
Yeah, but that was Microsoft going, okay, we
here's the thing.
We tried.
Ooh, here's another better thing.
Let's make it better. So I think this is Nintendo doing that, and I hope that this will just knock it out of the park for Nintendo.
Yeah. And that's kind of the success story as far as a quick turnaround on consoles go. And then you also have the Saturn Dreamcast debacle, which killed Sega.
Yeah.
And so only time will tell how this turns out.
Well, Sega screwed that up when they were like, hey, we've got the Sega 32X and the Sega CD, but we also have Saturn coming out.
Yeah.
Okay, and then Saturn comes out, and they're like, yeah, Saturn's not the future of Sega. What do you want me to buy then? So, at least
there are some parallels between what Nintendo's doing and what they're saying, what they're not saying. So yeah, it's a really interesting time in Nintendo's history. Right now, they're kind of figuring out what's next.
Exactly.
Speaking of what's next, Red Faction, Darksiders, and the Supreme Commander, among other things, have been picked up by Nordic, which is rebranding itself to be Nordic THQ, which they get those properties and they're gonna make a thing.
I want another one of this.
Yes. Red Faction is so good.
Yes.
Okay, so the thing is that they apparently have 27 games in development.
Holy
and
hell.
that scares me, because that is very much why the reason that the THQ failed was they invested all over the place.
Yeah.
And it just kind of went nuts. But okay, Red Faction.
Yes.
Do this one right.
Yeah.
I will buy it every time it comes around, because this game is so fun.
But Guerrilla Warfare specifically, not the first-person shooter Red Faction games.
Right. This one.
Because this style was amazing. The destructive, like right there, that's just hilarious. You're breaking out the floor below someone. You can blow up. You can take down the enemy buildings piece by piece.
Yeah.
You can see the structural beams. It's amazing. I think this would lend itself really well to the next gen consoles, current gen consoles, I guess. Even the stealth there, you could see the guy for some reason didn't realize that you had a jetpack, but really cool bomb there exploding.
Yeah, and the low gravity explained by you're on Mars.
You're
Don't
on
worry
Mars.
about
You're
it.
good. You're on Mars.
But yeah, that highly encourage anyone, if you didn't get a chance to play that one, go pick that up.
Is that backwards compatible yet?
I don't know.
Okay.
I would have been excited. I would have remembered that excitement.
It needs to be. We also got more news about the whole gambling debacle.
Yes.
Kind of switching gears.
As we predicted.
As we predicted, and I have to throw up more video of this turd bucket every time we talk about this, because he tried to make himself all sympathetic, and you scammed people. You're a scammer and a liar. Did you see Jimquisition? What Jim put up about this?
I did not.
He played that video and he played Fleetwood Mac's "Sweet Little Lies" at the same time.
Yep.
That guy. Come on, seriously. So the story here is that the UK is cracking down on gambling specific to video games,
and they're also codifying it because. Cracking down is one thing, but creating a set of boundaries and laws and regulations, that's kind of the thing that we predicted, is that if we, the gaming community, are not willing to self-regulate and figure out how to take care of stuff on our own, the governments will step in and do that for us.
Yes.
So,
and that's why
people are going to get away with. Yeah.
Well, and you have to be very careful about how you write the laws, because they can be misinterpreted in many different ways. I mean, when video games started coming out and becoming prominent, people were saying, "Oh, well, it's legal to copy that video game because it's software, and there's no law against copying software because that's what a computer does. That's an inherent property in a computer, to copy files." So.
Yeah. But it always makes me nervous when a bunch of mostly old white guys who don't know much about computer stuff start to step in and go, "These are the rules."
Yeah.
That's the noise they make when they pass laws.
That is. I think that other countries may view it similar to, I don't know, some people may be okay with it, but I think when I hear stories like this, I'm like, that's horrible. But it doesn't ring as harsh to me as the who was it, the Ayatollah or whoever it was. I can't remember the guy's title in he's Sheik was what it was, that was saying that Pokemon Go is a waste of time, and they issued a fatwa against it, and saying that and the same guy did the same thing against chess.
Yeah.
Because it's a waste of time and it rots your brain. Yeah, sure, chess rots your brain.
Chess, that old classic brain rotter.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah, and that's kind of how I view it, where if you go the wrong too far in one extreme, that you could have something like that.
Yeah.
And we need the continued freedom, but also protecting the intellectual properties and protecting the companies that are bringing these games out to us.
Yeah. And
otherwise they won't have money to make us more games.
Right.
That's really what it boils down to.
Yeah. And so it'll be interesting to see how all this unfolds. And we'll keep you in the loop.
That's what we do.
It's true. So the NPD numbers are out for last month.
And we have a winner.
And in July,
yes,
the Xbox One outsold the PS4.
Yes.
Which is that's cool.
It's really
awesome.
cool. I have a couple theories on it.
Okay.
So one is people buying these because they weren't sure about the Xbox One S, because at this time the rumors, in July we knew about the Xbox One S.
Right.
The biggest push I think that sold these is the added into that statistic is if it's sold in a bundle.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so, and if you've been on the internet, Amazon, Best Buy, all these different places were selling like 32-inch, 36-inch, 42-inch TVs. I even saw a 50-inch TV.
50-inch TV
with an Xbox.
And an Xbox for $500.
And yeah, so
that is outrageous.
Because Microsoft is just trying to give them away for two reasons. One, they want them in homes.
Yeah.
They want people playing them so that way they can buy software.
Right.
The other reason is they wanted to get rid of them for shelf space.
Mm-hmm.
His new Xbox One S is coming out, and they wanted to make sure they got as many of those out as possible. So $500 for a TV is already a decent deal. For a 50-inch TV?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's also really interesting because when they announced the Xbox One S, I said that I didn't understand it. I didn't know who the target market was. But apparently the target market knew who they were, because it's sold out, and
I'm probably gonna buy one.
But the 2 terabyte one is no longer out there.
It's out there. It's not being manufactured.
No.
There were 3 at the Target next to me.
Really?
Yeah. There's one. There's a couple at a GameStop near me as well.
All right.
I'm thinking about picking up one. I told Whitney about it, and she was like, "That sounds really cool." And I told her, "Well, the Scorpios might come out later," and she's like, "Yeah, but we can think about that later." We watch all our media on the Xbox One.
Yeah.
So
it's because it's a great media box.
It's amazing,
Yeah.
and and it works with our universal remote, because the PlayStation does not.
No.
So you have problems with the controller dying or powering off, as well as I don't think it's as user friendly, and as user friendly as PlayStation is, the Xbox, for most people that I've talked to, they find it easier to
more
navigate.
intuitive. Yeah.
It's more intuitive, and Whitney can navigate through that thing very well. And the PlayStation, usually, she just kind of hands me the controller and says, "Can you turn everything off?"
Yeah. I have a tendency, like I'll watch a lot of stuff through the PlayStation, but if I just want to turn something on, then I'll just put it on the Chromecast, because it's easier to just put it on my phone and then throw it up there.
So much easier. Oh, that's the other thing. I can cast YouTube videos up there, and I can go, "Oh, hey, you didn't see this video," and shoot it up to the Xbox just like that.
Yeah.
So
PlayStation does that too, but you have to go find YouTube because they bury it and they move it around.
yeah,
Stop it.
yeah.
Don't do that. So yeah, our last official story is a rumor that will probably be confirmed.
I really hope that it's
tomorrow.
not, but we'll find out tomorrow, I guess.
Yes.
Final Fantasy 15 is going to be delayed 2 months, possibly.
Right. From September 30th to November 29th. I held off on reporting about this until basically my litmus test is when Kotaku says it, I know it's for real. And the initial this started floating around on Friday evening, but it was based off of one GameStop source who said that there were marketing materials, no pictures or anything, just so that started floating around, and then we've actually seen a picture of the marketing material. And but actually I forget, there was some interview where they were talking with the director, and he was, and the guy was saying, you know, there are some bits that look a bit janky. Are you prepared to delay it if necessary? And Nomura was talking about, well, we don't want to do that. The person interviewing him actually said something to the effect of, well, we've been waiting for this for a decade.
Yeah.
If you need to kick it back so that it works and it's good, absolutely do that.
Yeah.
We will wait.
Yeah.
The other thing about this is that this puts a little bit more space between Persona 5 and Final Fantasy 15, because Persona
there is
5
an
is still
overlap.
coming out
Yeah.
in the middle of September.
Yeah.
So, yeah, because I'll be able to beat that in 2.5 months.
It as much as it makes me like really sad if this is delayed, if it's delayed 2 months and everything works well,
Yeah.
I'm completely fine with this. I've been waiting 10 years. I've literally been waiting 10 years for this because I told my wife about when Final Fantasy, I was dating my wife at the time, okay? I told her, hey, there's this game that's going to come out. It's Final Fantasy 13 Versus. And she's like, timed battles. I'm like, no, it's action-based. It's like Kingdom Hearts. And she was like, oh, that sounds interesting. That sounds interesting. I got her interested. But then throughout the years, as I've talked to her about this, it was like, hey, that Final Fantasy game is supposed to come out. And she's like, which one? Like, it didn't hook her enough. So
Yeah, that one.
This game could revitalize Final Fantasy in a way that hasn't been done since 7.
Yeah.
Because 1 through 6 are great, but it's very similar. 7 knocked it out to a different level, and I think this could do the same thing. And we could see a continuation of Final Fantasy games with, more action-based and more people brought into the game.
Yeah.
And it's always good.
The 13 series has a very hardcore following that really love it, but the people that came on in 6 and 7, which is when you get those two games are the biggest infusion.
Yes.
Most people you talk to played 6 or 7 first.
Yes.
And
Unless they're youngsters, but yeah. I met someone whose first one was 12.
wow.
Yeah, because
Yeah, that's a thing that exists.
To me, if I was their parent, I would be like, no, you're not playing that yet. You're not playing that yet. You can just start them off right. I guess their parents weren't gamers. I don't know. If this is done to make it better, I'm fine with it. It's still coming out this year, thankfully, hopefully.
Yeah.
And I'll be playing the heck out of it, and my wife will be playing the heck out of it too.
Yeah. And it's a game that the other thing, because like for me, excuse me. For me, I like the idea of being able to continue to slowly absorb and get into this world. Like you're playing the anime right now.
Yeah.
have you been watching that?
I haven't, and
It's so good.
When does Kingslave come out?
Kingslave is August 19th.
Yeah.
So this Friday.
Okay. So because I need to see that. Are we getting a group together?
Yeah, and I'm gonna make all of you come with me later because I can't watch it on Friday night.
Okay. All right, keep me posted. We'll keep you posted about it as well. I'll do a review of it.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to binge through the anime beforehand. Because
Well, I mean, you can get through it in half an hour.
Yeah.
What they've got now. And it's so much fun. I really like it. And the way that they're doing it, they're integrating me into the characters that are going with him, because Noctis is inherently interesting, the crown prince and the stuff like that, and then he's got these guys that are coming along with him, and so the anime is, I mean, it's brotherhood, so it's about their camaraderie.
Yeah.
So I'm enjoying that.
Yeah.
Have been enjoying that. Will continue to enjoy that, and so yeah, hopefully we'll get to see Kingslave this coming weekend.
I hope so.
All right. So we have two weird news stories for you. The first one is that August 18th, which is this week, in a week, they will be starting the Parappa anime.
Yes.
Because that's a thing people were asking for and wanting.
Okay, I love Parappa the Rappa.
Yeah.
Okay, I played the heck out of this game. Apparently, I didn't realize it had been this long, so I first played it 18 years ago.
Nice.
Because 98. And I absolutely loved it because of the style, but also the rapping was hilarious.
Yeah.
This was one of the first rhythm games that I played.
Yeah.
Because rhythm games before that would have, they were not done well before this. To me, I think this was the intro to good rhythm games, and PlayStation just knocked it out of the park with and some hilarious rapping and hilarious subject matter that he's rapping about, learning how to drive a car.
Yeah.
And it's just hilarious.
I also like it because like most rhythm games, like you've got the rhythm portion, and so for the person that's playing it, it's entertaining.
Yes.
This one's fun to watch.
It is.
And like it, I like playing it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I also kind of want to watch somebody else play it because yes,
it's entertaining, and so you have to hit the specific parts that it wants you to hit. But if you hit it the wrong time, he will still rap that word. Mm-hmm. So you can do your own kind of rhythm on it. So you could do chop, kick, block, 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 block. Like you do that.
Yeah.
And it won't count against you in doing so, which I think is really cool because you can be creative and have fun with it, and it is fun to just watch as well. So I'm very happy about that.
So and with the Parappa anime coming out, I'm hoping, because Sony loves to tie their stuff in together, and they've been bringing up, a couple of PlayStation games, mostly PS2 games, but bringing up old games, and like if they just threw this on the PSN store for $10-15, I'll buy the crap out of that.
I would buy it. The second one's not quite as good, but I would buy the first one.
Yeah, but for $10, you'd still probably buy it.
Probably buy it. I probably would.
All right. And then so Matt and Trey are crazy.
Yes.
And yes. So this is the nodulous. They are putting fart smells into South Park VR because
this has got to be fake.
No, it's real. And that's what's
That's
Yeah.
I thought
Why not?
I thought this was a marketing ploy.
It is
that
absolutely
right
a
there.
marketing ploy.
But
Yes, they have actually created this.
damn it. I already bought it for PlayStation, and I'm guessing this won't work on PlayStation. The amount.
Yeah, but
of,
are you gonna buy a noseless sift or
no,
whatever?
But I don't. I just don't. It doesn't seem real to me.
Okay.
It doesn't seem real. So if this happens, then okay. But it works. I mean, it makes sense for this game because there's so much farting in the South Park games in regards to combat as well as storytelling. Farts are important.
Yeah, it's. I mean, this is a promotional thing where they're just like, hey, we're crazy. We like being crazy. And
I really hope this doesn't. I really hope this isn't real.
So, it's going to be just kind of a marketing thing that gets sent out. Maybe you'll see it in like a Best Buy or something on a demo, whatever. But mostly it's just kind of a, hey, we actually spent time to make this thing.
I mean,
And it makes me smile.
as if you didn't need more like of a push for a South Park video game. I mean, people are gonna buy this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the news that we have this week.
That fried my brain.
This is the first week since it came out. We didn't have any Pokemon Go news.
Yeah, that's amazing. We went the whole show without talking about Pokemon Go.
Yep.
Mostly because Niantic's trying to kill it.
Yeah. They just might succeed.
It seems to me like they don't know how to continue a really good product that was already good.
Yeah.
They took everything that we liked about it.
Redbeard tweeted out a thing. He was like, "Hey Niantic, here's a great way to keep your game going. Don't break it."
Yeah.
And it's like,
I can't hunt for them anymore. I can't hunt for Pokemon anymore.
Yeah.
Which is, yeah, you could throw up a lure at a Pokestop and sit there and play it.
Yeah.
Sure, but you're getting random things at that point.
Yeah.
And I've caught way too many Rattatas and Pidgeys.
Yeah, I don't even go for Rattatas anymore.
Yeah. I mean,
because it takes too many to evolve them.
Exactly.
Anyway, so Pokemon Go, we're still playing it, but there's no news about it.
let us know if you're still playing it. Let us know if your daily habits have changed in regards to Pokemon Go, because mine have. I used to play it all the time, and I don't anymore because there are so many times where I know I'm not going to be able to catch anything. So
Yeah.
let us know in the comments. Tweet to us at TWIOCH, and we'll check you guys later.
Bye.